Three. And we are live. We are live. I have a very, very special episode of Seed Talk. And before we get into it, you know how I do. Um, I want to encourage everyone to like, share, and support. Get those algorithms going. We're all about building community, especially we're going to be talking about building the artist community capacity here in Seattle. We're going to be talking about a film. So make sure that you like and share this. Make sure that you donate. You know what I'm saying? Cash App, $ Logic I'm in, Venmo at Logic I'm in to support it. You know, slavery's over and whatnot. So we like to get paid for our time and what we do out here. I'm just a little podcaster, you know what I'm saying, doing my thing. But we got a very, very special show today. I'm really excited. This is something that Sea Talk has never done before, a little bit something different. And I think that when we talk about community building, you feel me? This is going to be really good because it's a shout out to people who have aspirations to be filmmakers, to be artists, and they need some inspiration and some motivation to do it. And these people on the screen right now, they embody everything when it comes to grind, hustle, putting everything into your craft, and just being dope artists, man. So without further ado, we're gonna get into it. Let me just intro real quick. I got the team. I call the team of Fantasy A Gets a Mattress. And people are like, what's this whole thing? The first one was Fantasy A Gets Jacked. Some of y'all saw it on YouTube. I played the jerk, the arch nemesis. I ain't gonna lie. I felt very uncomfortable at some points playing the role, going about the script, because I was just a jerk in the first one. It is a sequel, and then I guess it is a franchise now, and the sequel is Fantasy A Gets a Mattress, and it is about a gentleman, a young man who has autism, who gets kicked out of his group home. The group home owner or manager is played by Chris Zapata. You've seen Chris Zapata on the show, another fellow comedian and whatnot. And it's every time I see this film, I'm not joking, I like it even more. It's breadcrumbs. Easter eggs are all through that. There's a lot of scenes. We're going to talk about that. There's a lot of locations you can't even see anymore. It's winning all kinds of awards now. It won Best Cinematography over in Berlin. It won the Best Film Narrative at Seattle's Black Film Festival at Langston Hughes. It's selling out at the Beacon Cinema. I think we're up to 12. That's a dozen. That's all the disciples. You know what I'm saying? 12 sold out shows. And what I love about this, we're going to get into it. It's about the quality, not the quantity. I love how they're grinding, you know what I'm saying? And they're making their craft and their product so rare. And it's really ingenious what they're doing. I'm telling you, that's the reason why you can't see the first one no more. And they're breaking. I'm learning, you know what I'm saying? But I want to get to the root. You know what I'm saying? I want to, play on the pun of Seed Talk. Let's go to the seed where it all started with Fantasy A, a.k.a. you got to give them your government too, man. You got to give them your government. If you feel comfortable, I don't know. You might have warrants for your arrest or child support enforcement might be looking for you. No, I'm just joking, man. I'm just joking.
Oh, hey. All right.
You might be in witness protection and whatnot. I'm just joking. All right. I'm being Ramon right now. That all makes sense once you see the movie, because I know you're going to find a way to see the movie out there. But it's Fantasy A. This whole franchise, this whole movie is rooted in you. Tell us about who Fantasy A is. How did you get into rapping? How did you get into acting? They call you the hardest working local rapper in Seattle. Tell us about a Fantasy A. Ladies and gentlemen, Fantasy A.
Uh-oh.
No.
He's starstruck. He's frozen. He's frozen with flattery. That's what it looks like when you're frozen with flattery. So we're gonna wait for Fantasy A to get back up and running. He's a little frozen. He must be enduring some Arctic weather wherever he's at right now. But Why don't y'all tell us a little bit? Whoever wants. Oh, there he is. There he is. There he is. There he is. Fantasy.
Oh, here I am. I don't know why it just happened.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. Let's go into it. Just like we're on set.
Right.
They only know we made a mistake if we let them know, but we just don't let them know. But go ahead. How did you get started as a rapper, as an artist, as an actor? Where you went to school, how you grew up, whatever you want to tell us about Fantasy A.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, what's up? My name is Fantasy A, a.k.a. AH, my initials. I'll use this initial. I was born and raised in Seattle, Washington, and I was diagnosed with autism at age 3, and I went to Cleveland High School during my freshman to half of my junior year, and then I went to the center school from 2010 to 2011, and then went to Rainy Ridge High School for the transition program and graduated there in 2014. And I got the stage name Fantasy A when I went to center school, joined the hip hop club, which is an after school program ran by Samuel Walk and Peter Durding. And how I get into rapping is I listen to one of my favorite old school artists, Tupac, Snoop Dogg, and Notorious B.I.G. That's where I got that rapping inspiration from. And that's how I got into rapping, and it helps me to express my feelings and tell people to get them to understand of what I've been through and much more. And before I became a publicity rapper, I was an author. I've written about 2 books. One is called Life in the Eyes of an Autistic Person, which is about my life from my childhood to young adulthood. And my second book that I've written is called Life in the World of Gabe Fabins and Sage the Scholar, which is a story about those friends I went to school with saved the world, saved everyone after that terrible windstorm hit Seattle that destroyed the entire male population except for female. And those both books, they're all available on Amazon. And also, why I got into the acting industry is when David and Sophie and Noah first discovered me, and they asked me if they wanted to do a film with me, and I said, "Are you serious? I'm down for it." And they helped me to get to the top, to get my acting skills warming up, and we practice all the time, and that's how I got into acting. And sometimes we do it like practice many times, and then on the first official day of filming, we just practice our voices and our lines and everything. It takes a while to learn the lines.
Fantasy, let me ask you something real quick. I have so many questions for you. So why did you think that acting would be the right fit for you? Like, why did you think that was just a natural transition from rapper to actor? Why did you think that was something that you could do?
Well, I just like to do both things. I can be an artist, rapper, and also an actor. I can do both things. It's because, it helps me to overcome my past. So people will know what I will bring to the world that can get their mindset in a clean direction. So right. I'd rather do both, rapping and acting. I just go do both. That's all. Both.
So Fantasy, what's up, man? You got an agent? What are you gonna do when you get an agent and other people are gonna start coming to you and start wanting to do? I'm being serious and want to do other films with you, based on your talent and based off the popularity of this movie. Like, what are you gonna do with all this attention that you're getting? Seriously.
Well, very soon, when I find myself an agent, I will hire an agent and have that agent do me huge favors, and like find other places where they can like let us use their location, and I will like have them come up with some ideas, and see, like, I will have my agent to look for some audition roles that they're looking for, and they will tell me if I'm interested in doing any roles that they have available.
Mm-hmm. Another question I have for you, Fantasy, is you said some of your people that you looked up to inspired you to rap are Tupac and Biggie.
Yes.
When I listen to your music is very clean. Like, there's no cuss words in it. That I've never heard any you cursing. But so
I never.
why is your why do you choose to make really clean PG G-rated music that children can listen to and whatnot? How come your music isn't as graphic and explicit like Tupac and Biggie, your role models?
Oh yeah, that's a good question there. The reason why I like to rap clean because I don't want people to be offended, and they don't like to hear anyone with autism cussing a lot because that'll make them more uncomfortable, and they will think that it's gonna make me unhealthy if I curse too much on rapping. That'll make me look like a bad person and turn everyone down, and they'll take their inspiration away from themselves. That makes me want to take the inspiration away from them, and they will like lose everything that I gave them to make them feel inspired about.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me of a quote. I know I'm probably going to get the quote wrong. I thought it was a really interesting quote. It was very simplistic but complex at the same time. And I think what you just now said kind of is a good segue into it. You said something to the nature at the last meeting that we had when we were interviewed by Q13, shameless plug, Fox News. Check it out. The movie's that big. We got interviews. Shout out to my man AJ from Philly, you know what I'm saying, for putting us on. But you said, I'm a good person, something like, I'm a good person, but I see people do bad things and I want to do bad things too. It's something of that nature. Can you tell me how the quote goes? I don't know. Anyone else can join in and if they know the quote. Go ahead, real quick.
David does it.
Yeah. It's my favorite quote ever. It's from Fantasier's novel, Life in the Eyes of an Autistic Person. It's, I want it to be good, but when I see bad things, I want to do them.
So, yeah, okay. So, what does that mean, man? Like, break that down for us, a Fantasy.
That was the old quote from my high school days, and that's the quote that people will think it was from the past. Yeah, when I like to do good things, I like to see good things, and when I see like bad things, that kind of messes my head. That makes me want to do them. Like for instance, if I see someone who doesn't like me, that makes me uncomfortable, I'll just go up to the person and say something like bad to him, and do something that I'm not supposed to use my hands with, but it makes me decide if I can do that to that person or not. Like when I come up with that person, like it makes me want to beat that person up. That's what my quote meant. If I see something that makes me want to do it to that other person who doesn't like me, back in high school.
Oh, so back in high school, that's from high school. That has nothing to do with you now.
No.
Did you ever get into any fights when you were younger?
A little bit, just one. And that was a bad experience.
Why was it a bad experience, Fantasy?
Because I'm not that type of person that get involved in fights like that.
Right. Do you rap about it? Do you rap about that situation?
Yeah. I rap about it, but I don't remember if I written about it or not. I had to double check my songs and see if it relates to that. If I forgot to write about it, it'll be in my next song.
Absolutely. Fantasy. Who's making your production, man? Like who does your beats?
Actually, I made the beats myself. And someone that I know who does the audio engineering, they will mix the vocals. They'll mix my vocals and their vocals. They'll take care of the audio engineering. I make my own beats and I write my own lyrics too.
Absolutely. So what do you use to make your beats, Fantasy?
There are two softwares that I use. One's called Magix and also Music Creator 6 are the two softwares I use. For the first software that I mentioned, I use that to make beats and I put the loops together and that's how I make a beat. And I learned from that. And for Music Creator 6, I use that just to record vocals.
Okay. So Fantasy, so when did you get in your mind, look, I've written these songs, I've done these songs. Now I want to hit the streets and I want to let everyone know, because you got posters all over the city. Like, when did you decide that you want to take your show on the road?
When, like, back in 2014, when I first started it, and I just got an email from the person that used to work at Hollow Earth Radio and asked me if I'm down to perform. And I am so blessed and shocked that this person reached out to me and asked me if I can perform a set. And I told them I'm down for it. And then when that day come, they have me like be at the front and hype everyone up. It's my first time performing it, and it was a great experience.
How many albums you got?
Doing the performance.
How many albums do you have?
Right now I have 4. I'm almost done with my 5th album. The 5th album is going to be called A Kid from the Emerald City, which is going to be out soon.
Okay. And are you still out there canvassing the city? Do you do that every day? Like, what's your schedule like? Like, how do you do it? Like, are you going out today canvassing and just putting stuff up, or what's up?
I know today I had to take it easy because I've been working a lot on the weekend at my second job, which is with the Seattle Mariners as a guest experience host. And I work part full time with City Light, doing mailroom stuff.
Okay.
So probably on the days that I'm not working at my second job, that's how I'm doing the canvassing. That's how I'm be doing postering, like after work at City Light and on weekends when I'm not working at my second job.
Yeah, what's really surprising, I'm going to get to Noah, Sophie, and David. They're going to introduce themselves. I just wanted to get the foundation set with you as being the seed and the root of all this, because this talent existed and they discovered, or they met you, or they engaged you. They didn't discover you've already been discovered. But listen, what I'm trying to say is that it's really surprises me that you even have, a mean or, rude bone in your body. I've never seen you be unpleasant to anyone. So the fact that when you see bad things or things happen to you and you have this thinking that you want to do it too, you must have a lot of restraint, and discipline, because I've never seen you behave that way. You've always been respectful. That's actually one of your mottos, right? Be respectful.
Right? Yes. That's the motto that I use now. I no longer use that past quote. That past quote is old history.
Got you. So whoever wants to start first, y'all can go ahead and do a hand signal. Like, how did y'all meet Fantasy A? This person already had a brand. He had a name. He had a product. And what made you gravitate towards him and say, I'm going to start a franchise. I'm going to make a film about this guy.
I can start. So Fantasy A, Noah, and me, we all went to the same high school.
So David.
Yeah, and David, I'm sorry. Fantasy A, Noah, David, and we all went to the same high school, the center school. And we didn't have overlapping time at the center school, but we knew of him. He was in the ether, and we saw all of his posters. And then David and I had a fun little podcast that we did, and we interviewed Fantasy A for it. And he was more interesting than the other 4 people that we interviewed combined. And so that made us aware of him. And then
I can add, I think I was the first person to hear of Alex because my friend had been at the center school longer than I did. I left after junior year. I'd had enough. but he was showing. Yeah, because Sophie was there 1 year, David was there 2 years, I was there 3 years. None of us were there for senior year, but my friend did, and I was looking through his wallet, and there's this picture of this like cute young guy in a fleece vest doing this, and I say, "Who is this guy?" And he said, "Oh, that's Fantasy A. That's Alexander Hubbard." And it's like he gave this picture to my girlfriend, and she gave it to me. It's like this guy looks very interesting. And one day I went to the center school to see my friend. First thing I see is Alex selling his jewelry, kind of like Candy Crush kind of stuff, little beads on strings, all sorts of stuff. And they were like, "How much for a bracelet?" Like $30. And so he stuck in my mind. I think I must have told David about him. And that was, I think, another 6 years passed before you two did the podcast, because we'd see his posters everywhere. And then sometimes, if you were lucky, you'd be walking downtown and you'd spot him. You'd finally see him putting up the posters. And it was like seeing Bigfoot. It was so exciting. And so they did the podcast, and I wasn't there for it, but I listened to it, and I think we might have read some of his book, and then David pitched the idea of a short film where Fantasy A gets his stuff stolen on his birthday, and we wrote it up, met with him, and he had zero issue with it. So
wait. This is one thing that I want to give you. I want to give you your flowers right now and give you some props, Noah. This, like, first of all, Noah is one of the most resourceful dudes I ever know. Like, I can't think of anything in pop culture that he doesn't know. I'm like, how does this guy know about stuff that he had to be like 1 or 2, or before he was even born? This guy knows these things. Like, he knows like just like random stuff about that. I'm like, how does he know about these things? So, like, how did you actually find him? Like, how did you track him down? You said it was like seeing Bigfoot. Like, how did you finally track him down, get his number? And
that wasn't me. That was Sophie David.
Yeah, I was the one who found him, and he's very easy to find because he literally put his contact info all over the city, in every part of the city. So he was a very easy person to get in touch with. And during the podcast interview, just from that, I knew he'd be really good at film acting, because the whole time he was like looking directly into the microphone for all questions. And he was in no way different from just talking to him. So I knew that he'd be good on camera. Like, he wouldn't be doing a persona or anything.
Is there any way you could turn your volume down a little bit, or move the device a little bit further away from me? It's distorting. It's kind of loud, but I heard everything you said, though.
Yeah, okay. In the background out there for everyone in internet land, I'm in a coffee shop because I was going to do it from the library, but they closed 2 hours earlier than I thought they did.
David,
so now
your mic is on your headset.
No, it's not. This is a little thing to turn on and off.
Never mind.
Yep, we're not going to break with you, even though it was making noises as soon as you touched it, but it's okay. Listen, no, I'm just messing with you, man. I'm just messing. But listen, go ahead.
Alex is like a perfect kind of film actor because he can do the one thing most people can't do. He can stand perfectly still and do nothing for a very, very long time. Most people, when they like try to act, they need to start moving around a lot. They get very antsy. He's perfectly still, and he's like he's got like an anchor on him that pulls your eye towards him. He's like a visual anchor in any shot. He's very compelling to watch.
Mm-hmm.
He's hyper focused. That's why, when we talk about, autism, I don't like, as an educator, who's, familiar with special ed. I was in special ed. I was misdiagnosed, but I'm careful of calling it a disability. It's just a different ability because he has abilities that I just don't have. You know what I'm saying? He's very unique in that aspect. But when it came to like saying we're gonna like put a script together, like how did you find the other people that were in the first movie?
Well, I worked with Aaron at TJ Maxx, and it was just people we knew. Then they brought in people. We didn't do like a casting service or anything. It was pretty random.
and David had met you through stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone like Acacia, we met just through Facebook. And the first day she showed up, her parents were there, which we thought that was very weird. But I guess she had like double booked. So they were there to watch her play like this lame rapper's girlfriend. And so,
oh, okay. I thought her parents were there like just to make sure that you weren't like this predator trying to get talent, out of her or something like that, and
no, I think it was just kind of a weird double booking.
Okay, got
That's
you.
what we thought was going on at first. We also thought like we gotta make sure things are okay, but they're very nice.
Right. So the first movie that when you did it, when you're looking at locations and you're putting it all together, how long did it take you to put everything together? The first movie, Fantasy A Gets Jacked.
We wrote that one pretty quick, and then
it took about a year to film.
No, I think it took about 6 months to film, and it took a year to edit. That's what took the longest, because I think we started in April 2016 and basically went to about late August 2016, and then it came out in July 2017 at the Grand Illusion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So compared to the new movie, very fast.
Right. As an actor who played in the movie, it didn't seem like it was that fast for either one of them, especially for the second one. But even the first one, I mean, there's so many, you have to do several different takes, you know what I'm saying? You have to wait around. And y'all were very professional. I learned so much about movie production. Like there's some days that we just couldn't do it because of the weather. Mm-hmm. It'd be something as simple as that, or if someone couldn't show up. Y'all mentioned Aaron Billingsley. He's an incredible, actor. He does voiceovers. Oh, anyone want to, just talk about a little bit about Aaron? He's not here, you know what I'm saying, and whatnot, and what he brought to the movie.
He's definitely the easiest person for us to write for. He's like become our muse in a lot of ways. Yes. We have a lot of ideas for him. He's an odd cat.
Mm-hmm.
Very good improviser.
Yes, his improv is on point. It's amazing.
Because you picked him up for your series also. You understood his value.
Yeah. I mean, I could just see us having a whole buddy film franchise, just Xander and Ramon. Talk a little. I mean, I could just see it. I mean, like we just play off the chemistry. It's just so there. And like Noah was saying, I used him for 4 Men. 4 Men. It was just a sitcom that I put together, and I was inspired by y'all. I was like, man, I want to do this too. So I did everything on my iPhone, edited everything on iMovie, and it's funny and whatnot. But the characters in the movie, the feel, the tone of the movie, like what inspired y'all? Anybody? Like what inspired y'all to make a movie like this? Because it's something that is so unique. It kind of reminds me of Boots Riley type film. It kind of reminds me of Napoleon Dynamite. I'm sure you have your own references and whatnot, but why that style? Why that genre? Why that tone? Where'd you get it from?
Fantasy A. It was highly inspired by his books. And when you're making a movie about Fantasy A, you got to think, what would the Fantasy A movie be? And then just starting from him, you get the film. It really all started with him.
There's like an air of surrealism that follows him wherever he goes. So that informs the movie. But then, we'd also base characters off of real people. Like Acacia's character, Asia Rose, she's based off of a 50-year-old man. And so, like, the most immature man we've met in life, we actually made a documentary about him, and he was so difficult that we cherry-picked, like, his worst character traits and then filtered it through, like, a 27-year-old young Black woman. And somehow the alchemy works that way, in an interesting kind of way. Like, we would try and see sides of people that you wouldn't necessarily think on the surface. Like with her, Acacia is so nice in real life, so friendly, so bubbly. We're thinking that's fun in real life, but as a movie character, if she's just nice, that's not interesting. But if you took that positive energy she has and make her immature, mean, selfish, and sort of a jerk, that contrast works really, really nice. I think that's why her character is so interesting.
Now, Sophie, I just remember in the first movie you having, you know, I'm gonna put your business on blast. I remember you having the yellow Volkswagen Bug,
Yeah.
and me being so nervous driving your car for some of those scenes. I remember in one of the scenes I was driving down an alleyway and someone came, "Hey, what are you guys doing out here?" Stuff. But you know, it would be totally irresponsible for me just to diminish your role in this whole thing as the person who were just using her car. But because that's not what it was. I'm seeing, you know, all your skills and whatnot and what you do, but I would like you to tell us, like, you know what I'm saying, what you bring to the film and what you bring to this whole production.
Sure, thank you. So I'm a producer and also I did production design. But I think the word producer is kind of this sort of nebulous role that people understand what a director does because they've seen it in movies or they understand what a writer is. But a producer, it's kind of it kind of confuses a lot of people. They don't know what that it really entails. But it's basically being a jack of all trades. You make sure that people show up on time. You make sure everyone's been communicated with, that we have all the props, that, you know, you're the one that bugs the person with the batteries to make sure that they're charged. And now I feel like the bulk of the work is kind of in my hands when it comes to sending out emails to get reviews. I design all the posters. I do all the social media promotion. I'm reaching out to the theaters and that person. So less of a creative role, although I do input creatively as well sometimes with ideas, but that's definitely David and Noah's strength.
She also did some stunt driving in this movie.
That's true.
Too.
I did some crazy stunt driving. I totally destroyed, like, the pan underneath my car got torn off when I went down the alley, and I nearly slammed into a dumpster. It was like one of the most terrifying moments of my life, and I'll never do that again.
There's a shot where you see the car, it turns a corner and it picks up so much dust it just sort of vanishes.
By the time the dust settles, I'm already gone.
And I was filming it and I just hear it sounded like someone dying, just but it turned out it was the brakes of the car screeching to a halt as they basically drifted in the car and almost hit a dumpster.
Yeah, somebody could have died, so I'll never do that again.
Good shot, though.
Great shot.
Yeah, I mean, when I say, like, the cinematography, you know what I'm saying, in this movie is dope. Like, I see something every time I've seen it 3 times, I see something different every single time. You know what I'm saying? And I thought y'all really did a really good job with that. And just, Sophie, we can just really see your mind, you know, at work and how you complement. You know, I use a term a lot, complementary duality. And us as artists, we have a hard time doing what you do so well. And it's making sure everything's organized, making sure you're getting, you know, the publicity and the exposure for that, and everything's on a schedule. So we really can see, like, your hard work. I mean, the film is being submitted literally all over the world.
Yeah, that's the bulk of what I focused on a couple months ago, was doing that film submission stuff. And you have to put together a whole package. So you have to create a press kit and do a lot of research about where it's worth applying to. There's a lot of research that goes into that, and you have to set up a website and everything. And so I did all that.
Wow. It's definitely a team. Talk about Dr. Clean Productions. What's that about?
David.
There we go. It's the name of the production company. Originally, it was a can of compressed air we were using to clean out my computer, and it said Clean Drive, and it looked like Dr. Clean on its side, so we decided to call it Dr. Clean.
You know, this is the first time that and if y'all had told me this a long time ago, it would have made sense. It's the first time I knew that the script was inspired by the writing of Fantasy A.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. It makes totally good sense now. It makes totally sense now. It makes all the sense now. This is awesome. This is dope because it's like the mind of how his mind works. And I think what is dope is, you know, you want to talk about there's a couple elephants in the room, but one of them is like the mind of an autistic, you know what I'm saying, young person, but young man, but also the mind of a Black autistic person, you know what I'm saying? And we really don't get to hear those stories a lot. I mean, we hear a lot of, you know, stories about people with autism that aren't Black, but to see his mind actually being, you know what I'm saying, just teleported and magnified on the screen, it makes all the sense now. It makes a lot of sense. What does that feel like, Fantasy, to have an entire film franchise, a sequel based on your writing?
I thought it would be really interesting, like, to do the sequel based on the franchise that we started as of me. I thought it will help when I come up with something like new ideas, and I'll give it to Noah and David and Sophie and see what they think. And whatever I have, like when I write something on the journal about my day, how bad or good it was, I just gotta write it down and turn it into a story and tell it to David and Noah and see what they think. So that's what will be on my next project. My next.
So it feels good. If you're saying it feels good to have an entire film franchise based off your writings and what you and how you think.
Yes.
So let's talk about it. Your film was selected by the Seattle Black Film Festival at Langston Hughes. So one of the elephants in the room, you know what I'm saying, is why a predominantly Black cast? You know what I'm saying? Mostly Black cast. Why, why Fantasy A Black autistic kid? You know, well, at one point he was, because he's a young man now, but why that? Why did you choose to go that route?
A lot of that was a coincidence. There's only one person in the entire movie who was cast explicitly because they were Black, and that's Lovely, who plays Acacia's cousin. And that was only because it was Acacia, and so for the cousin, we needed a Black actress. But besides that, there were some roles that we originally had no idea about skin color. Like the Little Rude Puss's manager was played amazingly by Uncle Shredded Wheat. And that's just because someone brought him in and they said, hey, this guy's pretty good. We're like, yeah, he's great. Let's use him. But that role could have been any skin color.
No, and the reason why I'm not, I don't want to. There's nothing wrong with being uncomfortable, but I'm not trying to make anyone uncomfortable. But I'm saying if you just look at the cast, I mean, literally, in the Black community, we have this ongoing joke. It's like there's not a lot of Black people in Seattle. But if you look at this cast, you'd be like, man, there's hella Black people in Seattle.
Yeah, well, I mean, like Aaron, he was my coworker at TJ Maxx, and he has such like a DJ sounding voice that customers in a line all the time, he'd be ringing them up, and they'd be like, "Whoa, you should be a DJ or a singer." So I knew I wanted him in a movie. Logic is unbelievably talented. I knew from watching his stand-up, that guy would be great in a movie. And yeah, it just kind of came together. There are, I think, how many non-Black actors are there in the movie with lines?
Very few.
Very few, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, trust me. I mean, I know I'm a little bit biased. I have no problem with your casting choices. You know what I'm saying? In all seriousness, I thought y'all did a really good job casting people. Like, they're really good actors. And Fantasy A plays a great role. I mean, he's a really good actor. Acacia, a really good actor. Aaron, a really good actor. Chris, a really good actor. And let's talk about the other elephant in the room. Let's talk about there's at least one more after this. Let's talk about why Ready Ron, because he's been in the news for other things, You know what I'm saying?
He's
About
so
his
funny. Ready Ron is so funny. His laughter is so infectious. That's one of my favorite scenes in the movie where he's laughing at Ramon and bullying him like a schoolyard bully. It's so funny.
He really is, no joke, one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. He's just like a very warm guy. And all the DMX stuff started happening like halfway through filming. And honestly, he seemed to be enjoying it in a lot of ways. It was the most attention he'd gotten in a long time. He would show up in like bulletproof jackets to filming. And he said that he wasn't so much concerned about like people actually trying to come and get
message.
Someone who like
Hold on a
seriously.
second. Sorry. Something's going on. Hold on a second.
To who?
No. Something just happened. Can you tell people what we're talking about? The elephant with Ready Ron and DMX. Can you talk about it real quick without going too deep into it and stuff? Because I don't really want to say anything that may compromise what I'm saying, what he's trying to do and whatnot.
Well, the story was that when DMX died, he had in interviews said that the first person to get him addicted to drugs was Ready Ron, his mentor, who in the stories is 30 and DMX is 15, even though I think they're the exact same age in real life. They were just two guys who knew each other. And it sounds like the whole thing's kind of bogus. And Ready Ron has gotten a really bad reputation because of this. And it's totally unwarranted. So DMX dies, people start to blame Ready Ron for it. And so he'll show up in a bulletproof vest for filming. He said that he was afraid of people who are like, what was the name, David?
It was, he said he wasn't worried about like DMX's friends. He was worried about getting killed by Bobby Boucher types. And I had no idea what that meant. And then he explained it was the Adam Sandler character in The Waterboy. And I didn't know anyone still thought about that movie.
No, I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't know what his sensibilities are about that and whatnot. I don't know how sensitive he is about it. But when I last saw him at Deacon Cinema when we did the segment for Q13, can you mute your camera, David? Can you mute that? But he had played me a clip because he has saved some of the death threats that he gets, and he had played me a clip of a person who he had diagnosed from a distance of having some kind of cognitive disability that was threatening him. And he said, I'm not really worried about people who are in the Rough Rider crew, who is DMX's, label at the time. At one point that he was on, he said, I'm not really worried about them. It's people like this. But how did you find Ready Ron? Because and this guy is a this is the crazy thing about Seattle. Seattle is a whole different universe. You know what I'm saying? It's like you get people from all over the country, all over the world, because we're a .com city, we're a military city. You can do pretty good economically here and whatnot. He comes way from New York. You know what I'm saying? This is a guy who gets mentioned on Killer Mike's new album about this whole DMX thing. How did you find Ready Ron, this guy from New York, you know what I'm saying, just walking the streets of Seattle? Who found him?
I think I did. Through Facebook. He had this picture, and he's got this scar right here on his lip. So he has this tough look, but so we thought like, hey, he can play this guy in the first movie. It's a real small role. We'll give him a shot. And I heard his voice. His voice is like gravel smoking cigarettes. It's so rich and deep. And just I think in the first 15 minutes we were filming with him, he was so compelling and interesting. I'll say I once spent an afternoon with him, and it was the most chock full, action-packed afternoon I've spent in my life. And it'll inform some other stuff we do in the future. But anytime I've spent time with him, something interesting happens. Like I once watched Demolition Man with him at his house, and he laid back on his couch and he said, Fantasy A gets jacked. It's corny shit, but therein lies its brilliance. He somehow his biggest accomplishment, he lives in a house where he smokes and it does not smell like cigarettes. I have no clue how he does it. It's pretty amazing.
Wow. Okay. Shout out to Ready Ron. What was it like, Fantasy, working with Ready Ron?
That's a good question. It feels really great to work with Ready Ron because he knows about my hustles and how much I put work out around the city to get people's minds changed in a positive way. I believe it's really cool that Ready Ron will learn more things about me and like when I went to his barbecue once and we just talked things about how I do well postering and much more and so on. Yeah, so Ready Ron's a cool guy. I like him and he likes of what I do and he feels inspired of what I said my model to him and what I give to everyone who gets to know me and I meet them and get to know them.
Right. Hey, in the current film, Fantasy A Gets a Mattress, it shows you getting kicked out of a group home. Chris Zapata plays the group home manager, and he's not very nice to you. Did you really get kicked out of a group home? Talk about that.
Well, in real life, I did not get kicked out of a group home. I just moved out of there. It's because of those restrictions and the curfew restrictions. And one of my old caregivers, I kind of don't like the way he acts towards me because it makes me very uncomfortable. First, he's nice and switches to be mean. That's something I'm going to bring up to my case manager about it, my oldest one, and told me to get a haircut while we do like one day of filming. And after that, he just told me to get a haircut. And that does not make any sense. I think it's because he doesn't want to like keep on washing those pillowcases and those pillows because he's afraid that we're gonna get hair on the pillowcases, and that's the reason why he wants to keep the family home clean, which is the biggest mistake. So, right. and I moved out of the group home because I found a place to stay on my own with roommates, and I thought it was a good move to me.
Mm-hmm. So, Noah, Sophie, and David, what kind of feedback did you get? And this is the last elephant I want to talk about in the room. What kind of feedback did you get casting a person with a different ability with autism? Like, what kind of feedback did you get? I don't want to lead the question at all, and I'll talk about my personal experience and with it and how I felt about it. But what kind of feedback did you get casting an autistic black male in your movie?
It has been 100% positive.
Okay.
It's been pretty cool. If you check out our letterbox, it's like nothing but great reviews.
I think initially people would say things like, well, is he going to play himself? I was like, well, yeah, he's going to play himself. Like when we started this so long ago that initially a lot of people thought that an actor should play him, someone who wasn't autistic, and somehow that would be less offensive. But then now if we had done that, it would have turned into a disaster. So it was always going to be him, and that was the only move to make. So yeah, people love it. People love him.
That's right.
Yeah. And one of the things we talk about this briefly, but I just like to just be, radically transparent. That was one of the things as an educator, and just knowing how sensitive not only the world is, but how sensitive Seattle is. It's super duper PC up here. It's liberal, but it's liberal in a way that, people are so educated that they want you to do everything right. You know what I'm saying? In the right way. And my concerns is me playing a bully to an autistic kid, you know what I'm saying, in the movie, or autistic person. I just didn't, it took me a while to warm up to not only playing a role that I'm so strongly against as an administrator and as a principal in the schools. It's like I would never allow anyone to treat a person with autism the way Ramon does this guy. Like I had to warm up just and get the chemistry right. Like, and that's what I was saying. Like, Fantasy is such a good actor because he was just like, man, like he would literally look at me, and I don't know if he was saying it to himself, but he was saying it through his body, like, bro, we're acting. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I'm just like, and I'm reading these lines. The first one, man, was, I'm using some profanity. And that's what, and then I was thinking, well, is someone going to say, are we laughing with Fantasy or are we laughing at him because he has autism? But go ahead. I think you want to say something, Sophie.
Yeah, I think that sometimes people, particularly in Seattle, don't understand that art is not for therapy's sake. I mean, art can be cathartic for the artist, but we're not making this movie as some kind of with a message necessarily in mind, and it's certainly not for like a therapeutic purpose. And I think that's like therein kind of lies the conflict for some people who don't think that bad behavior should be modeled by characters in a movie.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm totally an artist. You're preaching to the choir right now. Totally. Like, I'm totally for it. I just, I've been under scrutiny, you know what I'm saying? As an educator and as an administrator, with my music and my hip hop, people have complained that, of me exercising and practicing my artistic freedom and license. I'm a proud artist, and I'm not just one dimensional. I was just wondering if y'all had got any feedback, you know what I'm saying, or negative or critical feedback. And for casting, Fantasy, like you're taking advantage of him and stuff like that. And, again, operating with radical transparency. That's why I put it out there. I love the fact that he's in good hands with y'all, man. And I just want to make sure that y'all, we wrap our arms around him and we support him, and also be very, protective over Fantasy, man. That's our guy. That's our brother. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't, because you're very talented, Fantasy, and I just want to make sure you stay in good hands and stuff like that, because there's some very nefarious people out there, man. You know what I'm saying? In real life, not just in movies. There's a lot of real Ramones out there and whatnot. And so I just, I think that I know, Sophie, not to, not to counter what you said, but that's one of the dope things about the movie. Number one, it shows you that people with autism and other different abilities or disabilities, they have talent, and we'd be damned if we will find someone else to play that role. Like, it wouldn't even make any sense. Then I think I agree with you. Then I think it would be inappropriate and it'll be insulting, because he can play the role, very good. You know what I'm saying? And it's authentic. Go ahead.
And we were so lucky. We didn't make him a star. We found a star. I mean, the fact that we found a star, that doesn't happen to most people. As filmmakers, we just got extremely fortunate.
Yeah,
Right.
We weren't looking to like make a film about someone with autism. It's about him, the things that make him interesting, because we have plans for him to play other roles, like, characters who aren't just himself. We have a very good character for this next idea. This character Ernie, it's gonna be great. It's gonna blow people's minds.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Like, let's talk about that as we wind down and we move towards resolving this show. Like, what more I want to start with David, Sophie, and Noah first, and then I'm finish with Fantasy A. Great way to end where we began. You know what I'm saying? Like, what can we expect from Dr. Clean Productions, from the whole Fantasy A franchise? What's the next movie you're gonna do? Come on, man. Like, talk to us.
I would just like, I'm in a coffee shop right now. I had someone like directly giving me death stares for a half an hour, and they left 10 minutes ago. So like this whole interview, I have been like looking and I'm trying to avoid them. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out there. If I seem to be like looking away a lot. But
No, it's all good, man. Tell them,
Okay.
hey, we need to start telling people to mind their business and go get a mattress. Okay, tell that person. You must be on Capitol Hill, man.
No, I'm in Ballard. I think they were like fully crazy, but
The only reason why I said Cap Hill because my daughter was up there and I heard that they're just really just Gestapo with the cafe times there. They're like, are you gonna buy something? You can't just sit in here.
yeah.
Tell them to go get a mattress. But
Yes.
what's next for Fantasy A? What's next for Dr. Clean? What's next for the whole team?
We had a couple movies in the works that are pretty cool with Xander, if you've seen the movie, the real Aaron Billingsley. And we're fleshing them out right now.
Yeah, there's Crystal Ball, and then there's My Beef with Chubby Bueno. And so those are in the works.
Okay. And tell them a little bit, and this might be a little bit difficult. This might be the most difficult part of the show, ironically. Tell them how they can see the first one, Fantasy A Gets Jacked, and how they can see the newest release, Fantasy A Gets a Mattress. How can people see this film?
If you really want to see Fantasy A Gets Jacked, it's been pulled from the internet, but Scarecrow Video has a copy you can rent for free in the free rental section. So if you saw Fantasy A Gets a Mattress and you're so curious you have to see Fantasy A Gets Jacked, go to Scarecrow Video and you can rent it for free, but you have to make a special trip.
Okay, time out. We just got a break right there, bro. You just now dropped a breadcrumb and the Easter egg. You said Scarecrow Video. One thing we didn't talk about in this episode that I can't even trust that we forgot is like how many iconic spots in Fantasy A Gets a Mattress are showcased in this film that you can't even find anymore. So Fantasy A Gets a Mattress becomes like a period piece now. You know what I'm saying? It becomes like a local treasure. You just now said Scarecrow Video. Man, y'all have no idea how influential and how iconic Scarecrow Video is. Like, you try to find any kind of video at Blockbuster, Movie Mania back in the day. I'm throwing out stuff now. If you couldn't find it there, you could find it at Scarecrow. But here's the catch. If you went to Scarecrow, everyone knew that you had to go to Scarecrow. You probably had to be put on the waiting list or something like that to actually get the video you want. I remember back in the day, they had like Faces of Death. Google it.
We know it.
And you couldn't find it anywhere, but you could find it at Scarecrow. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you brought up Scarecrow Video, the fact that you are supporting local businesses in Seattle that are iconic, I think that's what I'm talking about. Y'all ideas are dope. Like, I would have never thought of putting Fantasy A Gets Jacked at Scarecrow Video because that's like an Easter egg. Like, that's where you go when you can't find something you can't find anywhere else.
Yeah, it's in the local section, and you can rent it for free. It's a free rental, so you can just go in and ask for it.
It's on DVD?
It's on DVD, yeah. They have the one copy.
Man, ain't no one gonna return that now, man. See, you might as well go ahead and start printing up more of those because they.
But Scarecrow is also a great place too. We put posters up there, and some people came to the movie because they saw the poster at Scarecrow. If you're trying to market a movie to film people, hit up Scarecrow.
Yeah, and in terms of the new movie, our 12 screenings at the Beacon have sold out, but there should be more coming. We're showing at the West Sound Film Festival in Bremerton, August 4th.
Mm-hmm.
There's another festival that's coming up, but it's a secret right now.
We haven't announced it yet. So
I know other theaters are already contacting us about, at least 2 theaters in Seattle have contacted us about showing Fantasy A Gets a Mattress in their space. So more is coming. So if you've missed it thus far, it's coming and you'll have an opportunity.
Awesome. And here it is, man. We're going to end how we begin. Fantasy A, what can we expect from you? When's that mixtape coming out? When Ready Ron going to do all your beats for the next album, bro? I'm a producer. Let me produce some beats for you too, man. Let me get on your new album, bro. In all seriousness. Let's
Yeah. That's right. You'll expect my new album to be out hopefully either by August or September. Look out for it. I came from Emerald City. and I will hit up Hey Ray Ron, have him make a beat for me, and I'll have it ready for my next album after I release the new one. Fancy will get the new album ready, hopefully by September. So get ready, y'all. That's where you get from me. That's what you expect from me is get my new mixtape out and everything. It's coming, y'all. It's coming for real.
Yes. I'm excited.
That's my guy.
Thank you.
Hey man, hey, this has been awesome. You know, at the end of every C Talk episode, we have a plan of action and we also have homework. I'm gonna go ahead and go first. Y'all don't have to do it if y'all don't want to. I don't want to put y'all on the spot right now. But the plan of action is also doubles as a homework, man, is don't just follow your dreams, because you know dreams usually happen when you know you're not very conscious and whatnot, but follow your vision, focus your vision. Find people to be inspired by and to motivate you. Work on your craft every single day. Get yourself a notebook, write down something, and work towards your goals every single day. Have short-term, mid-term, long-term goals, and use this as an inspiration and a motivation, man. Stop always trying to be a leader, man, and follow other people. We know we got this alpha male culture out here, this alpha person culture, you know, be this high value person, this, that, and the third. Nah, man, humble yourself and understand at any time, you know, in your life, you're going to be a follower, you're going to be a leader, you're going to be a living, breathing person. So try to make this world a lot better place when you leave it, you know, than how you found it. So that's my plan of action. That's my homework, man. You guys got anything to say, man, as we kick it off, man? This has been a really good episode, man. I appreciate y'all. Anyone got anything to say?
Well, I guess the next plan of action for the movie is to get it reviewed by some heavy hitters and find a distributor. That's the next plan of action for me. I've been hustling basically every day trying to make that happen, and it's baby steps, you know. So
Yeah.
I would also advise to anyone out there looking to make a movie, the one thing I really did not want to embrace is you do just have to go out and film it yourself. Like, if you go online or go to events, you'll hear so much stuff about people like, well, what are you talking about? I know where we can get tons of funding. But you just have to go out and film it. There's no way around that for your first movie.
Right.
I would also add in, go outside your sphere of friends, make new friends in the process, because so often your friends are the people who like will not take you seriously and they will let you down. People you've just met, people like they'll inform your work differently than you'd expect, and they are more likely to come through for you. So you'll open up a whole new world for yourself by doing that, and you'll add an element to your work that you never expected.
Man, that's great advice, man. All of y'all, man. That's great advice, man. Especially what you just now said, Noah. Like people always like look at me as like to be like this intellectual leader, this thought leader, this educator, this community activist, and things of that nature. And I've learned to humble myself. And I loved, you know what? It's hard being a leader. And I love showing up to set. In all seriousness, I never said this before to you. And I want to make sure I say it in front of everybody, to the whole crew. I'd show up on the set and all I have to do is follow your lead. That feels so good. And know it was in good hands. And I trusted y'all with the process. And as an artist and as a fellow writer, I was like, maybe we should write it this way. Maybe we should, I'm thinking in my head. And now it's just like, it's their baby. And I trusted you with the process, and then that's why we're here right now. And you know, you put us in a great position, giving us exposure and whatnot. So I definitely want to appreciate that. You know, coming from me. But I just remember the first time, on the first movie of the first time I went to the show, the debut that was in the U District. You gave me a letter. You know what I'm saying? You that was your gift, you know, to me. You gave me a letter and I still have that letter, you know what I'm saying? It was some encouraging words, and you did the same thing with this last film. So I never would have met y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for this movie, I don't think. Well, nope. You know what? We did meet, but we wouldn't have been friends like we are now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like you were saying. Yeah, we did, because you said that I used to teach chess during lunchtime because you went to Meany Middle School. That's so funny.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. So, anyways, you got any advice from it to anyone? Any plan of action, Fantasy?
Yes. My advice, if you have any like artist friends or actor friends, musician friends, rather than promoting your work online, I'd rather have y'all create a flyer either through Canva.com, Microsoft Publisher, or any other craft document and insert logos, insert pictures of your album or anything, and put in the QR code in there or any URL links and get them printed at the nearest print shop. I recommend G&H printing, but I recommend EZ Copy and Print in U District because I go there a lot, and I recommend you print the flyers there and post around town on each pole around the corner. So that's my advice to give to every one of y'all. Be like Fancy A because he rather post up flyers than just promoting online.
Okay, thanks. Hey, y'all, make sure y'all get into the comment section. Make sure you share this video. If you have any questions, we're going to be responding to your comments in the comment section. If you have any questions, because some things that we didn't cover today that I'm just, leaving off just for the sake of time. But I know you probably want to know how they funded this. You want to know how they found their location, what kind of equipment they use. You want to know, like, how you could be in the next movie. You want to know about networking. Get in the comments. You have any questions, get in the comments and we'll answer them. We out. We love y'all. Hey, thanks everybody. We out.